back with another One Piece Dream Porter video. Last week we had our PvP tier list, and now it's time to do our PvE version. So let's go ahead and get started right away with Ace. Now Ace is a really good character. I think he's one of the best characters to bring for PvE content, especially mob content. He can clear out mobs very easily with all of his AoE skills, and if you bring a character like Crocodile or Luffy that can do AoE defense breaks, it makes him even better. Next we have Apoo. Now I think Apoo belongs in the A tier. He's a support character, but he's not as good a support character as someone like Bege or Hawkins. Both of their support capabilities are better than Apoo. The fact that both of them can draw cards and Apoo can't really lessens his role as a support character. But if you do have him, he's good to bring for Reddit content because he provides AoE buffs for your characters, and he can also burn the enemy, which helps Ace and Sanji do more damage. Next we have Bege. Now I'm really torn on Bege. I think he's a really good character, but I think he primarily belongs in PvP and not PvE. The fact that he's a tank makes the battles drag out even longer, and the fact that all stages are on a turn timer makes them even worse. I think for PvP he's one of the best units, but for PvE he leaves something to be desired. Next we have Crocodile. Now I think Crocodile easily belongs in the S tier category. The fact that he can do AoE defense breaks on the enemy is really good. You can pair him up with other AoE characters such as Ace or Boa to do even more damage. The fact that his ult guarantees an AoE attack down is also really good. Him and Ace together are one of the best pairings for the berry stage, and the fact that everybody gets this character for free is the cherry on top. Next we have Hawkins. I think Hawkins is one of the best support units to bring to these stages. With his passive, he can give your characters healing, he can give your characters shield, and he can give you another turn. His ult guarantees you another turn. I think him and Zoro are also a really good pairing because he can give your Zoro card draw, allowing you to get those extra turns with Zoro. All in all, a solid yellow character and a really good support character. Next we have Kid, and now Kid I would also put him in the A tier. I think he takes a little bit of ramp up before he gets really good in a battle. The fact that he can stun also makes him really good, but you won't be able to stun every stage. The saving grace this guy has for PvE is that he can still ult charge from the enemy, allowing the boss to never ult throughout the whole battle. I think he's better suited for PvP, just like Bege, but both of them can be brought onto PvE stages. Next we have Bege, our first god tier character. Bege is one of my favorite units to bring for PvE. All she does is sit in the backline, continuously provide healing per single target attack on your front line, and she gives you an AoE buff on all of your units while also providing you an extra turn. She also, just like Hawkins, gives you card draw for specific units, and the cherry on top is that one of her skills gives the opponent an attack down. So the fact that while you're doing boss stages, if you have her in the front, you can continuously do that skill that makes the boss have an attack down, allowing you to survive multiple more rounds. I love Bege, and she is a must bring to all of my PvE stages. Now let's talk about the limited characters, and let's start with Sanji. I think Sanji currently belongs in the A tier, and the reason why I think he belongs there is the fact that he doesn't do enough damage. Also, he needs the opponents to be burned to do even more damage, making it so that he needs to be on specific teams. While other characters like Kizaru and Crocodile provide things like defense down and support for your characters, Sanji simply doesn't do that. The only support he provides is his taunt, and that doesn't work all the time because you need a certain amount of yellow marks on your character. I do think he's a solid unit to bring if you focus on Sanji and build him correctly, but the fact that you need to bring him on specific teams and build him certain ways, I think really brings him down. Next we have Zoro. Also, I'm putting him in the God tier. Now, he's the only character I put in the God tier for both PvE and PvP content. I think he's the best character in the game currently right now, and the fact that he can provide an extra turn with a silver card on the first 2 turns is super valuable in both PvE and PvP content. He has one of the highest attack outputs in the game, up there with Mihawk, and if you bring Sanji along with him, he does even more damage. I think this guy is a must bring to all PvE stages, and he is one of my favorite units in the game. Next, we have Luffy. Now, Luffy I think belongs in the S tier. You could argue that he's a God tier character because he does more damage in the Captain Trial stages, but his stats aren't the best, and that's kind of holding him down. And just like Sanji, he wants to be put with certain characters to maximize his damage. But I think he's one of the best units to bring for PvE stages, especially ones that you need blue units. I think for those stages he's up there with Zoro in damage, and the fact that one of his skills is the AoE defense break does not hurt at all. I really love using this Luffy for all of my PvE stages, and I will highly recommend everyone to build them to use for your Captain Trial stages. Next, we have Law. Now, I haven't tried Law yet, so it's hard to have an input on how good he is for PvE. I played against him in PvP, so that's why I know how good he is in PvP, but in PvE content I have not used him yet, so currently I'll put him in the A tier, but this is subject to change. I think he could be really good in PvE because of his health regen abilities, but the fact that he focuses on taking units from the front line to the back line doesn't really help in PvE content, since mostly you want to target bosses with all your attacks. That's why I want to test him out before having a real input on how good he is for PvE content. Now we have Boa. Boa is one of my favorite units to bring in PvE content. The only thing that holds her back is the fact that you can't stun boss units. I do believe she's better than all of these other characters in S tier, and if I had to put a real role on her, and I will probably put her in that S plus tier, but she's a really good unit to bring for all PvE stages. She has an AoE stun that works on mob stages, and she does a lot of single target damage with her skills. Next, we have Mihawk. Now, Mihawk I will also put in that S tier. I would say just like Boa, he belongs in that S plus tier. His scaling works on if you defeat enemies, and if the enemy is a single boss which you haven't defeated until the battle ends, then that really holds his damage output back. Even though his passive doesn't do the best in some PvE stages, I do think he is one of the best red units to bring, solely because of the fact that he has the highest damage in his single target ult out of all the other red characters. I think just off that fact alone that he is a high damage single target ult makes him really good, and the fact that other red characters like Boa and Ace have AoE ults really helps the case of bringing him into boss battles, because his ult is single target, so meaning he's going to do way more damage than someone like Boa and Ace. Next, we have my boy Lucci. I really do love using Lucci in PvE stages, but I think he's better suited to be used in PvP stages. The thing that really does help him is the fact that he's a purple character, meaning that he does neutral damage on all element types, and he does not have a disadvantage against any element type besides purple, but his damage isn't as high as some other characters like Mihawk or Zoro, and that's what really brings him down. But his defense capabilities are way better than those characters because he is a purple, meaning he doesn't take that much damage from all elements. Now, the final character we have to talk about is Kizaru, and I do believe Kizaru is in that God tier. The reason I put him in that God tier is the fact that his AoE ult provides a defense and attack down on all enemies, meaning your other characters can do way more damage and survive longer. The fact that he also has that ability to do more damage to the worst generation makes him even better for those Captain Trial stages, and he makes all your element characters who do elemental damage do more damage, which also makes him really good. And the final cherry on top is that he can provide additional healing for all of your frontline units with his passive ability. I really love using this Kizaru, and I truly think that he's one of the best characters for both PvE and PvP stages. Thanks for watching. Let me know if there's anything you would change in the comments below. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, as it goes a long way to helping out the channel. Thanks for watching, and this is Gacha Baka signing out. If you are interested in more One Piece Dream Porter content, watch this video right here where I talk about every 5 stars kit. Or if you're wondering about the upcoming character leaks, then watch this video over here.